guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to learn how to make this beautiful flower stitch top. This is inspired by our flower bralette that we already have on the channel. I already taught how to make the stitch, but we are going to go over it again in order to start this top. So this has a neckline shaping, as you can see here, and then it has long sleeves, as you've seen at the beginning of the video. And yeah, let's just dive right into the materials. The written pattern is already available on all my online shops, and I'll be leaving it on the screen as well as in the description. So the hook that I'll be using for this project is a 4mm crochet hook. I'll also use yarn. The yarn that I am using is Alize Cotton Gold. Sorry, the yarn name is covered by the sticker, but it's ALIZE. So this is Alize Cotton Gold, and you'll also need a measuring tape to take some measurements, and then you'll also need a darning needle to weave in your ends, and you will need 2 stitch markers, and that's basically it. For the yarn, I used about 5 balls total to make the whole piece, but this will vary depending on the size that you're making for, and each ball of this is 361 yards. So do the math and find out how much yarn you may need approximately. I would recommend maybe 2 balls up for each and every size. So I'll be demonstrating for a size small, and if you want a looser fitting, then you can go a size up. I'll be also recommending chains in the process so that I can help you out with the calculations. And yeah, I'll be leaving the gauge on the screen so that it helps you out in case you need to base on that in order to make this design. For the beginning of the tutorial, I paired this top up with the striped textured shorts, and these already have a tutorial on my channel, so I'll be leaving each and every detail in the description box below. So let's get started. This piece is worked in panels, so we're going to start off with the back panel, and then we shall keep growing our project in panels, and then we join everything together in order to form this beautiful piece. All right, so you're going to grab your hook and your yarn, and you're going to start with a chain that can run from the end of one shoulder to the end of the other shoulder. So for me, I'm going to start off with the chain, and that chain should be a multiple of 8 plus 5 chains. So for me, my multiple of 8 is 88 plus 5 chains is 93 chains. So that will be my starting chain. Alright, so I have my 93 chains, and I'll be recommending a number of chains for the different sizes. To take a measurement, one thing I forgot to mention was you should consider an odd multiple of 8. So that will give us a total of an odd number of flowers across the first row. So I have 18 inches without stretching, and this is for a size small. You can see this. I have about 18 inches, in between 18 and 19. So that should be a comfortable fitting for a size small. So an odd multiple of 8. For example, my multiple of 8 is 11, which gives me a total of 88 plus the 5 chains. And now we're going to start working our stitch pattern. You're going to go into the 5th chain from the hook. So counting from this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, and into the 5th, you're going to hold here, and then you're going to yarn over twice to prepare for a treble crochet. Insert your hook into the 5th chain from the hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So we are not going to finish it because we are going to do 2 treble crochets together. So yarn over twice, and then go into the same exact chain, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So you'll have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all. What we've just done right there is 2 treble crochets together. So you're going to make a chain of 1, skip over 7 chains, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and into the 8th, which is this one, you're going to yarn over twice, and you're going to do 2 treble crochets together into this chain, the 8th chain. So insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over twice, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So you'll have 3 loops left on your hook, yarn over, pull through all the 3 loops, and then you're going to make a chain of 4 and go into the same exact chain with a slip stitch. So you just insert your hook and pull through all. So this is what you'll have, and then you're going to make a chain of 4, 1 2 3 4, and into the same exact chain you're going to go in there with 2 treble crochets together. So yarn over twice, insert your hook into the chain, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So don't finish your treble crochet, yarn over twice, insert your hook into the same chain, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through all the 3 loops. So this is what we have. And now you're going to make a chain of 1 and repeat the same exact thing that we've done here. So after a chain of 1, skip over 7 chains, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and into the 8th you're going to make 2 trebles together, 2 treble crochets together, and by now you know how to do this. Chain 4, slip stitch into the same exact chain, chain 4, and 2 treble crochets together into the same exact chain. All right, so you can see exactly what we have here is the same exact thing that we have here. You're going to repeat this all the way across your chain until you have a total of 8 chains left on your row 1. Chain 1, don't forget to always chain 1. Then yarn over twice, skip over 7 chains, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and into the next chain, which should be the 8th, you make 2 treble crochets together, chain 4, slip stitch into the same exact chain, chain 4, 2 treble crochets together into the same chain. This is what your work will look like. So let me go all the way across and keep repeating this until I come towards the end of the row. All right, so we've come to the end of the row and I have a total of 8 chains left. You're going to skip over the 7, and after this cluster you're going to make a chain of 1 and skip over the 7 chains, and into the very last chain you're going to place 2 treble crochets together, just as we've been doing. So yarn over twice and place your 2 trebles together into the last chain, And then after this, you're going to make a chain of 4 and slip stitch into the same exact last chain. So this is what you're going to have for row 1. Row 1 is going to look like this, and we're going on to row 2. For row 2, you're going to start off with a chain of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then you're going to turn your work. Now we're going to go into the chain 1. You see that chain 1 in between the 2 clusters here. So you're going to yarn over twice and into the chain 1, not the space, but into the actual chain 1. You're going to try to place your hook through and place your 2 trebles together. Yarn over twice, set your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then you're going to yarn over, pull through all the 3 loops. By now you know how to make the 2 treble crochets together stitch, and then you're going to make a chain of 4, and you're going to go into the same exact chain 1 and place a slip stitch, and then make a chain of 4 and 2 treble crochets together into the same exact chain 1. So all right, so this is what we have. You can see how the flower sort of shape comes together. So after this, you're going to make a chain of 1, and this time instead of skipping the 7 chains, you're going to just skip over the 2 clusters here and go into the next chain 1 here in between these 2 clusters. So you're going to yarn over twice, go into the chain 1. So make sure as you work your pattern, when it comes to the chain 1, it shouldn't be very tight, because when it gets to the new row, it may be a little bit challenging to go into that stitch, the chain 1 stitch, to create the clusters. Then you're going to make a chain of 4 and slip stitch into the same chain 1, chain 4, and then 2 trebles together into the same chain 1. And that's basically it. For row 2, you're going to repeat this until you come towards the end of the row, and I'll show you how to wind up. You can see the flower shape starting to form. Let me get... I wanted to get the bigger sample to show you what you're going to end up with. You see those little flowers? It's like a flower pattern. So this is our aim. So we're going to go all the way along until towards the end of row 2, and I'll show you how to wind up. So chain 1, make sure it's not tight, and then go into the next chain 1 in between the next. So you skip over this one, and then into the chain 1 here. That's where you place your 2 treble crochets together. Chain 4, slip stitch into that chain 1, and then chain 4 and 2 trebles together. So go all the way along. I'll meet you towards the end of row 2. All right, guys, we've come to the end of row 2, and I've just placed my 2 clusters in the last chain 1 space, not the space, actually in the last chain 1, because we go in the actual chain 1, not the space. So you can see what we have. We've created our last flower shape, and this is what we have along. our row. And from here, once you finish this one, you're going to yarn over 4 times. I don't know what this stitch is called. I heard it was called a triple treble, but yeah, you yarn over 4 times, and then you go into the chain where this cluster is coming from, into that chain there, insert your hook, pull up a loop, and then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Keep doing this until you pull through the last 2 loops. So this is what we have, and this balances what we have at the beginning. Remember the chain 7 that we have here? This is what the end of the row looks like. So we're going on to row 3, and we're going to start off with a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then you're going to turn your work into the same exact stitch where the chain 4 is coming from. Here you're going to place your 2 treble crochets together, just like that, and then you're going to make a chain of 1, skip over the next 2 clusters, and in the chain 1 space, in the chain 1, sorry, here inside the chain 1, you're going to place your 2 trebles together, just as we've been doing for the previous row. So 2 trebles together, and then chain 4, slip stitch into the chain 1, chain 4, and then 2 trebles together into the same chain 1. Just like that. So see what we have. This is also creating another group of flowers, as you can see here. So row 2 created a flower here, but row 3 is creating a flower here. So it's kind of going to create an alternating kind of effect, that if you have a flower here, you also have a flower here, but also a flower here and here and here. So that's the effect that we are trying to create, and it looks really, really beautiful. So from here, after creating your 2 clusters into the chain 1, you're going to make a chain 1, and then skip over the next 2 clusters, and into the chain 1, you repeat the same exact process. 2 trebles together, chain 4, slip stitch into the chain 1, chain 4, and then 2 trebles together into the same exact chain 1. Okay, and just like that, we're going to repeat that all the way across. Don't forget to always chain 1 in between. Because that chain 1 is the one going to receive the clusters of the next row. So don't forget to always place it. So the moment you get done with the 2 clusters that are placed into the chain 1, you always make a chain of 1. So I hope I'm clear on that. Go all the way across and finish up row 3, and I'll show you what to do next. Alright guys, we've come to the end of row 3, and you can see what we have here. Now once you finish placing these 2 clusters into the last chain 1 of the previous row, you're going to make a chain of 1, just as we've been doing after creating each of the 2 clusters. So you're going to make a chain of 1, and on top of the chain 7, the turning chain 7, we're going to place a cluster. So you're going to do 2 trebles together on top of the chain 7, the topmost chain. Just like that. And then you're going to make a chain of 4 and slip stitch into the same exact chain. So that will mark the end of row 3. This is what you'll have at the end of the row, and this is what we have at the beginning of the row. Make sure you always balance what you have at the beginning and at the end of the row. As you can see here, you can see we have only 1 piece here and 1 piece at the end. So we're going on to row 4, and row 4 is going to resemble row 2. So you're going to make a chain of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then you're going to turn your work. So into the chain 1 space, I'm used to chain 1 space, but into the chain 1, you're going to place your clusters, the 2 clusters. So you're going to do 2 trebles together, and then make a chain of 4 and slip stitch into the same chain 1 and chain 4 and 2 trebles together into the same chain 1. So you can see how easy this pattern is. The moment you know how to begin and end the row, everything else is a walkover. So you can see how it has created another flower effect at this point. So the flowers are going to keep alternating and creating this beautiful floral lace pattern. So go all the way across, and I'll show you how to wind up row 4 because it's quite different. So you're going to make a chain of 1, skip over the next 2 clusters, and into the chain 1 you're going to place your 2 clusters. So you start with 2 trebles together, just as we've been doing before, and then make a chain of 4, slip stitch into the same chain 1, chain 4, 2 trebles together into the same chain 1. Okay, so go all the way across doing this, and I'll meet you back towards the end of row 4. All right, so we've come to the end of row 4, and we've just placed our 2 clusters into the last chain 1 of the previous row. And after this cluster, you're going to yarn over 4 times and then go into the space where this cluster comes from, this one here. So into that space, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 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 and yarn over, pull through the last 2. And this is what the end of your row should look like. So we are basically going to repeat rows 3 and 4. Keep building and keep repeating rows 3 and 4 until you get the length of the back panel that you want for your top. This is going to measure from the top of your shoulder until where you want your top to stop, either the waistline or the underbust or the hip bones. This is going to vary depending on your desired top length. So I'm not going to dictate that, but I am going to go ahead and do the length that I want for mine, but go ahead and do as many rows that you want for yours. Alright guys, I did a total of 20 rows, and remember I mentioned that each flower represents 2 rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10, and I have a total of 10 flowers, but since each flower represents 2 rows, that means at this point I'm at row 20, and the length of my back panel is approximately 13 inches, as you can see here. So you should end your panel on a row that starts with a chain of 7. So you see that long stitch, that's the row that should end your panel. And now we're going to do the final row that cleans up the edge. So you're going to make a chain of 1. I've already made my chain of 1, and you're going to turn your work, and then you're going to go into the very first stitch with a single crochet, chain 7, skip over the next 2 clusters, and into the chain 1 you're going to place a single crochet, chain 7, skip over the next 2 clusters, and into the chain 1 you're going to place a single crochet. So this is going to clean up the edge of our panel to look almost exactly like the base of the panel. So continue to do that all the way across, and I'll meet you back towards the end of the row. 4, 5, 6, 7, single crochet, chain 7, Alright, now I'm making my last chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Skip over the last 2 clusters, and on top of the chain 7 of the previous row, you're going to place a single crochet. And that's how we wind up our panel. So remember I mentioned that my back panel is 13 inches long, but that can vary depending on the length that you want for your back panel. So 13 inches, and I've made the very final row to clean up the edge at the top of the panel. Now I'm going to go ahead and make another panel, which is supposed to be the front panel, but this time around I'm going to start with the same exact number of starting chains that I did for my back panel, but the difference is I'm going to grow my panel until my upper bust or the armpit level of my piece. And for me, that is a total of, let me see how many rows that I did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 15 rows. So I've done a total of 15 rows here, and the last 5 rows are going to do the shaping for the neckline. So depending on how long your upper body is, just work the front panel the same exact way that you did the back panel until your upper bust, and then we are going to do something different. So at this point you can just make a chain of 1 on your back panel, and then you're going to cut your yarn, pull through. So this is our back panel. So go ahead and make a front panel the same exact way that you did the back panel, but until your upper bust. And now we are going to start shaping and leaving out the space for the neck. We're going to do some shaping for the front panel. So for me, I have a total of 15 rows, and I'm going to start shaping my neckline. Alright guys, now what you should consider to make this tutorial very easy for you, just consider having an odd number of rows. That way we are going to be at the same exact level, and following along with my tutorial is going to be much easier. So since I have 15 rows, just make sure you have maybe 17 rows or 19 rows, depending on the length that you want for your top. So right now, if I'm to take a measurement of my front panel, I have about 9 inches, as you can see here. I have 9 inches long. Now I'm going to get 2 stitch markers. I have this one and this one, and we're going to count. We're going to count a number of, we're going to consider this flower below the last row. So I'm going to count 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. And we want to leave out a total of 5 flowers in the middle. So I'm going to mark this point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then also mark this point. Remember, we started our panel with an odd multiple of 8 plus 5 chains. So you should be having an odd number of flowers across your panel. So if we are to count from this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. You can see that's an odd number of flowers. So we want to eliminate a total of 5 flowers in the middle. Here, 1 row below the very last row of the front panel before we do the shaping. And now we're going to go ahead and continue working our rows as usual, but this time we are going to work short rows so that we can leave out this space of the 5 flowers in the middle. So row 16, or whichever even row that you're on right now, because I have told you to consider an odd number of rows before we start the shaping of the neckline. So row 16 is going to start off with a chain of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and turn your work just as usual. Same instructions as row 2, which is an even row. So you make a chain of 7, and then you're going to go into the chain 1 with a cluster. We're basically repeating the same exact instructions as the pattern that we were making before. So make your cluster there, and then make a chain of 4 and slip stitch into the chain 1, chain 4, and then make a cluster, 2 trebles together. And by now you know exactly what to do. So we've formed a flower here, and then make a chain of 1, and then skip over 2 clusters and make a cluster into the next chain 1, chain 4, slip stitch into the chain 1, chain 4, and then 2 treble crochets together. To form our cluster. So this is what we have, and then make a chain of 1, and into the chain 1 here we're going to make a cluster, and then make a chain of 4, slip stitch, chain 4, and 2 trebles together to form a cluster. So just like that, we have worked our pattern until we've gotten to a point next to the stitch marker. So what we are going to do right now is make the long stitch. So you're going to yarn over 4 times, and then into that spot with the stitch marker, actually we are going to go into that space there, that little space. So yarn over 4 times and go into the space and place your long stitch. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through the last 2. So you can see how we've balanced the beginning of the row and the end of the row, because these are going to be short rows. So from now on we're just going to repeat rows 3 and 4. So after this row you're going to make a chain of 4 and turn your work, and just keep repeating rows 3 and 4. So get a cluster into the first, chain 1, skip over the next 2 clusters, and into the next chain 1 you're going to place a cluster, chain 4, and slip stitch, chain 4, and a cluster here. So you can see how we've gone back to the pattern. The only difference is the rows are much shorter. So what we want to do is to keep growing this until we have the same exact number of flowers from the base of our front panel all the way up as the back panel. So since I did a total of 10 flowers for the back panel, so far we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. That means I still have a total of 2 flowers in order to get to the same exact number of rows as the back panel. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and shall see what to do next. Alright guys, we are through, and we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which is the same exact number of flowers that we had for our back panel. And now we are going to clean up the top edge of our extension. So you make a chain of 1, turn your work just like we did for the back panel, you single crochet into the same exact stitch, and then make a chain of 7, single crochet into the next chain 1, into the chain itself, not the space, and then make a chain of 7, single crochet into the chain 1 after skipping 2 clusters, chain 7, 5, 6, 7, and then skip over the next 2 clusters, and on top of the chain 7 you're going to place 1 single crochet. Okay, so this is what you'll have. So we are through with our very first extension. And now we're going to repeat the same exact process for the second one. So I'm going to make a chain of 1 here and cut my yarn, leaving behind a tail for attaching. Pull through. So this is what our first extension looks like. Now for the second one, we're going to make sure that we are working in the opposite direction of the previous row. So we're going to flip over our work like this, and the second extension is going to start from this point with the stitch marker, just to make everything neat. You're going to make a slip knot and attach at that spot where we had placed the stitch marker. So we're still leaving behind a total of 5 flowers. Make sure you cross check 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 flowers in the middle. So attach your yarn where the stitch marker was and then make a chain of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and into this chain 1 you're going to go in there with a cluster. So you yarn over twice and place your cluster there. 2 treble crochets together, and then make a chain of 4 and slip stitch into the chain 1, chain 4, and place a cluster into the same chain. So we're basically doing the same exact thing that we did for the very first row of the top extension on the opposite side, just that this time around we've started from here so that we maintain the flow of the stitch pattern. Remember, we always work in the opposite direction of the previous row. So after this, make a chain of 1. Into the next chain 1 you're going to place a cluster, chain 4, slip stitch, chain 4, 2 trebles together, chain 1, and then into the next chain 1 you're going to place a cluster, chain 4, slip stitch, chain 4, and another cluster into the same exact chain. And then it's time for us to create our long stitch. So you're going to yarn over 4 times and go into that space where the cluster below comes from. So this is what row 1 looks like, and you're going to just keep repeating rows 3 and 4 until you get the same exact distance as our very first extension. Alright guys, we are done with the second side, and look how beautiful how our front panel looks. I'm actually in love with this because I know very well that it's going to give a very lovely fitting. So what we're going to do right now is to reintroduce our back panel. So our back panel is here, and we're going to sit the front panel onto the top of the back panel and see what we have, guys. Look at that. So this opening here is the neckline opening. We don't want this top to reach up our neck, so that's why we did some little shaping to leave out this space. So what we're going to do is to stitch these pieces together you're going to flip over your work. I don't know which side should be the right side, but both pieces should be looking the same. So for me, I'm going to just determine which side I want to be the right side, and I'm going to stitch this piece together on the wrong side. So make sure your seam line is on the wrong side of your work. So I'm going to use this tail that I left behind, and I'm going to attach the very first single crochet with a single crochet, and then into the chain 7 space I'm going to just go in there with a total of 7 single crochets. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and then I go into the next single crochet and attach it onto the next single crochet of the opposite panel. So that's all that I'm going to do all the way across until I get to the end of the front panel. Actually, the very first extension of the front panel. 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and then single crochet into the single crochet and go into the next chain 7 space with 7 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and then into the last single crochet attach it to the single crochet on the opposite panel, and just like that we are done. Once you're done attaching this extension, that's it. You're going to make a chain of 1 and pull through, and you're going to repeat this same exact process on the opposite side using the tail that you left behind. So alright guys, we're done creating the shoulder seam line on both sides of our top, and when you flip it over, this is what your piece is going to look like. This is the back panel, and then this is the front panel. So we're going to go onto the sleeves, and for the sleeves you're going to determine how thick or the circumference that you want for your sleeves. For me, I have already made my panel, and I've done a total. Let me first put this piece away. I've done a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 flowers across, and that means my starting chain was a chain of 69 chains, which is a multiple of 8 plus 5 chains. So I have a total of 8 flowers across, and then I also, if I'm to take the thickness or the circumference that I am considering, it's about 12 inches. So remember, I'm making for a size small, and that is a total of 12 inches. And then for the length, I kept working my panel until I had a total of about 17 inches. So this is going to vary depending on your measurements. I'm just giving you general instructions of how you can achieve this look. So once you are done with your sleeve, this is what it's going to look like. This is our sleeve, and we are going to bring back our main body and make sure you've placed it on the wrong side of your work. Now we're going to attach our sleeve onto the main body of the piece. If I'm to zoom out a little bit more, yeah, I think this makes much more sense. We have the seam line of the main body, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spaces. And then for the sleeve, I forgot to mention, you're going to consider So I forgot to mention that for the sleeve, you're going to consider an even multiple of 8 so that you have an even number of flowers across. So I have 8 flowers across. That's going to help us to divide the sleeve evenly on both sides of the front and the back panel. So now we have brought our sleeve, and the very last row of the sleeve is the one that's going to attach onto the main body of our piece. So we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 chain 7 spaces, and that means we are going to divide this number by 2 so that we have 4 on this side of the seam line of the main body of the top, and then 4 spaces. But this is going to vary depending on the foundation chain that you started with. We can have 5 spaces here and 5 on this side. Just make sure you balance the number of spaces on both sides of the shoulder seam of your piece. So I'm going to get my hook, and we are going to attach each chain 7 space onto each long row. It can, remember here we have that long stitch, so we're going to attach everything together. Let me get some yarn. So I have a tail here that we can use. So let me just do this. I've got to count. Remember, we have a total of 8 spaces here. You're going to divide it by 2, which is 4. So from the seam line here, you're going to count 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to start attaching from this point. You can start from the middle here, and this attaches onto the single crochet stitch. And then into the spaces, you're going to go in there with a total of 7 single crochets. 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then at this point here, between the clusters, you attach it onto the single crochet stitch, and then 7 single crochets into the space. If you feel like 7 single crochets is quite much, then you can reduce the number to maybe 6, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then into the single crochet, and into the next space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is what you're going to have. We're creating a seam line on the top of the shoulder, not on the top, actually the side where the sleeve attaches onto the main body. And then the shoulder seam goes into the single crochet here. So far we've attached half of our sleeve onto the main body, and we're going to continue until all this is attached. So we're going to continue to do the same exact thing that we've been doing on the opposite side of the seam line. Alright, so we're done attaching our very first sleeve, and now we're going to go onto the opposite side and attach our second sleeve. So I have my second sleeve here, and I'm going to attach the last row of the second sleeve onto this side of our top. and then I'll take a bigger picture. I'll take a full photo of what we have so far, and then we shall put everything together. Alright guys, to give you a bigger picture of what everything looks like, these are the sleeves, and then this is the front panel, and then this is the back panel. Now what we are going to do, you can see the seam lines. You can see the shoulder seam as well as the seam line that attaches the sleeves onto the main body of the top. We're going to fold over our front panel like this so that we can get that opening in the neckline, and then this will automatically fold the sleeves into half, just like that. And we are going to go ahead and join this opening here as well as the side, and from this side as well as the side of the piece, and then I'll show you what I'll have after that. So I'm going to just flip over my work onto the wrong side and go ahead and attach everything together the same exact way that I've been doing all these other pieces, and then I'll be back to show you what things will look like. Alright, so to give you a bigger picture of what things look like, we haven't yet joined the sleeves together into a round as well as the main body into a round, but this can give you a clearer picture of what things are going to look like. I'm in love with the stitch. I feel like it has given us a very beautiful effect, and the shaping on the neckline is just working in our favor. I just feel like it's a very beautiful fitting, and I can't wait to see everything put together. So let me go ahead and join the sides, and then we see what things will look like. Alright guys, we are through with the joining process, and you can see how the sleeves look like. I'm going to roll the camera for you at the end of this video so that you can see how gorgeous this top looks. And yeah, both sleeves are attached. All right, now we're going to do a very beautiful trim. As you can see in the image, we're going to do a flower trim at the base of the top as well as at the base of the sleeves, so that we can create a beautiful edging that finishes off the edges of the top. So you're going to grab your yarn and make a slip knot, and you're going to attach your yarn in any chain that has these two clusters. So for me, let me turn my work to the back, and I will consider the one of the chains at the back of the top in order to have the seam line at the back. So I'm going to actually count and find the exact middle of the top. It's here. So into that chain, I'm going to attach my yarn, the chain with the two clusters, and then I'm going to make a chain of 4. Just like that. And then I'm going to go into the same exact chain with a cluster, 2 treble crochets together. And just like that, we are done. And then you're going to make a chain of 1 into the same space. You're going to yarn over twice and do 2 treble crochets together into the same chain, chain 4, slip stitch into the chain, chain 4, and 2 treble crochets together into the same exact chain. So just like that, this is what we have for the very first space. Now this is going to differ when it comes to the other spaces. So you're going to make a chain of 1 and then go into the chain space that has the next 2 clusters, and then place a cluster which is 2 treble crochets together, chain 4, slip stitch into the same chain, chain 4, 2 treble crochets together into the same exact chain. Okay, so this is what we have. Chain 1 and repeat this same exact process. So 2 treble crochets together into the same chain, chain 4, slip stitch into the same chain, chain 4, 2 treble crochets together into the same chain. And just like that, we've created an increase in this space. You can see we have 2 clusters here and another 2 clusters into the same exact point. So you're going to repeat this process again and again. So let me show you one more time. You're going to make a chain of 1, and then into the next chain, you're going to 2 treble crochet together, chain 4, slip stitch into the same chain, chain 4, 2 treble crochets together into the same chain, chain 1, and repeat this same exact process. So into the same chain, 2 treble crochets together, chain 4, slip stitch into the same chain, chain 4, 2 treble crochets together into the same exact chain. So this is a lot of stitches in just one chain, but you can see how this is going to flare out our work. So chain 1 and keep repeating this all the way around. So it's like we are creating a total of 4 clusters in each and every chain space. So this is our first cluster, chain 4, 2 treble crochets together into the same chain. That's our second cluster, chain 1, 2 treble crochets together into the same chain, chain 4, slip stitch into the same chain. That's our third cluster, chain 4, 2 treble crochets together into the same chain, and that will be our 4th cluster. And just like that, we've created an increase at this point. So you're going to start noticing a ruffle-like look, and that's exactly what we want. So you're going to go all the way around, and I'll meet you back towards the end of the round and show you what to do. Alright guys, we've made it all the way around and I'm only left with this chain space. So I'm going to make my chain of 1 and do the same exact thing that I've been doing all the way around. So I'm placing my first cluster with 2 treble crochets together, chain 4, slip stitch into the chain, chain 4, 2 trebles together into the same chain, and then make a chain of 1 and repeat that. So 2 trebles together, chain 4, slip stitch, chain 4, 2 trebles together. All those stitches are placed within the same chain. So just like that, we are through with this. This is what you'll have. And then you're going to make a chain of 1, and remember in the very first chain we had a total of 3 clusters instead of 4. You can see we have 1, 2 and 3. So into the very first chain where we have the 3 clusters, you're going to go in there with 2 treble crochets together. So we are forming the 4th cluster. So 2 trebles together, and then you're going to make a chain of 4 and slip stitch into the same exact chain. This way, that means the very first chain also has a total of 4 clusters. 1, 2, 3, and 4, just like all the other chain 1 spaces. So you're going to make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn, and let's see what we have. So this has created a beautiful trim at the base of our piece, and if I'm to turn my piece around, you can see it creates a complete flower at the base of our design. This was unexpected, but it has turned out very cute, as opposed to just having an edge that looks like this. Just let me know down in the comment section. I feel like this trim is really worth it, and it's worth taking off some time to invest into the final touch of this top. So I'm going to go ahead and do this same exact trim on the sleeves as well, and I will take the final images of my piece because the sleeves don't have that beautiful trim. So you're going to rewind the video and get back to the final row at the base of the top, and you're going to attach it at the base of the sleeves as well in order to have a neat finish for your top. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright guys, now that we are done with the trim, the sleeves are also finished. You can see that beautiful flower on the edge of the sleeves. We've also done it on the second side as well, and that's basically it. That's our top finished. Let's see the final look of our beautiful piece. And when it comes to the neckline, I don't think I'm going to do any trim or any edging on the neckline edging, but you can do what you want to do. You can maybe do a single crochet row or whatever you want, but mine is going to be left bare. And that's basically it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Make sure you give it a thumbs up if you did, and if you would like the written pattern, it's already available on all my online shops. And yeah, thanks for watching guys. I will see you in my next one.